state bird. So it has a certain selection criteria. So the selection of the state bird, this selection criteria lies on three main pillars. That is the cultural significance of that bird. Okay? If that bird has been mentioned in the ancient scriptures, in the texts, the mythology, and the local folklore, okay, all these things also they provide the cultural significance of the bird. Then the second pillar is the ecological importance. What role does the bird play in its ecosystem or in its surroundings? Mainly, its role in the food web and the conservation status. That is how rare this bird is, or does that bird particularly it requires certain protection or conservation efforts or not. So these are the three main pillars on which decide, or these are the three main factors which help the state government to designate one particular bird as the state bird: the cultural significance, the ecological importance, and the conservation status. Now, we all know that IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature, comes out with the red list, red list on threatened species. And according to that, we have two categories, that is least concerned birds, and we have the threatened category. The threatened category together comprises of the vulnerable, endangered, and critically endangered subcategories. And the Wildlife Law of India, particularly the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. So that provides for two schedules. That is, Schedule 1 implies for the absolute ban on hunting with the highest penalties. So the birds which require the highest level of protection are placed under Schedule 1. The birds which require somewhat lesser degree of protection, they are placed in Schedule 2. So in Schedule 2 offers high protection with specific trade regulations. Now, the earlier Wildlife Protection Act, it has consists of 6 schedules, but the Wildlife Protection Act amendment in 2022, the number of schedules were reduced from 6 to now 4. And out of those 4, Schedule 1 provides for the highest penalties, and it implies absolute ban on hunting and threatening the birds or any of the species. Now, one by one, let's discuss all these state birds of India, starting with, and when we say about the state birds, we are also including the official birds of the union territories as well. So, starting with the Ladakh from the north, so in the state bird of Ladakh is the black-necked crane. If we talk about the IUCN status, it is near threatened and is listed under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. And what is the significant point regarding this bird? That the eastern Ladakh region is the only known breeding ground for these majestic birds outside China. So outside China, these birds they do not have a breeding ground except for the eastern part of Ladakh, and they are threatened by the feral dogs and tourism. Yeah, Ladakh is emerging as a hotspot for tourists, and because of that excess tourism, these birds they are nearly getting threatened. Then for the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, we have the Halij pheasant, which is the official bird of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, its IUCN status is least concern, and following the geopolitical split from Ladakh. So in 2019, with the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act, the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir was bifurcated into two union territories, that is the Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory and Ladakh Union Territory. And following that split, Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory adopted this pheasant, and it is distinct for its preference of the foothills over the high arid plains. Okay, so it is mainly found on the foothills rather than the high arid plains. Then moving down from Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, we have the Himalayan belt, in which we have two states, that is Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Now, the state bird of Himachal Pradesh is Western Tragopan. Okay, the Western Tragopan is the state bird of the Himachal Pradesh, According to IUCN, it is listed in vulnerable category and is listed in Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Now, this is also known as the Jujurna or the king of birds because this shy bird inhabits dense temperate forest and is facing the threat because of the habitat fragmentation. Then we have in Uttarakhand, the state bird is the Himalayan monal. Okay, so Himalayan monal is the state bird of Uttarakhand. It is least concern and is listed in Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. And it is known for its regal appearance. So it's quite a good looking or regal looking bird. It is also the national bird of the Nepal. Okay, so our neighboring country, Nepal. So the Himalayan monal is also the national bird for Nepal. So the male's plumage is historically significant but now protected. Then after the Himalayas, let's come to the plains in north, starting with Punjab. So the northern goshawk is the state bird of Punjab, and its conservation status is least concerned according to IUCN Red List and Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Now, this particular bird is a symbol of strength and martial history in the Punjabi culture, and historically, this particular bird, okay, so it's a hawk, so it has been used for falconry. Then we have the state of Haryana, and the state bird of Haryana is black francolin, and it is also listed under least concerned category according to IUCN and under Wildlife Protection Act Scheduled 2. And locally, it is also known as the Kala Titar. Okay, so Kala means black and Titar means bird. So it is known as the Kala Titar, and it is known for its loud, distinctive call echoing across the farmlands of Haryana. Then we have the official bird of the Union Territory of Chandigarh, and it is the Indian grey hornbill. Now, this particular bird is listed under least concerned category according to the IUCN list, and it is adapted to the city life and is recognized by its peculiar horn-like casque. Then after the hornbill, let's discuss the great hornbill. Okay, so great hornbill is the state bird of Arunachal Pradesh as well as Kerala. So it's the common state bird for Arunachal Pradesh as well as Kerala. And if you talk about the conservation status, so it is listed under vulnerable category in IUCN Red List and under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Now, the great hornbill plays a vital ecological role that it is also known as the farmer of the forest because of its vital role in seed dispersal. Okay, so it mainly is a frugivore, that is, it mainly eats fruits. And after eating the fruits, this particular bird, that is the great hornbill, it scatters the seeds of the fruits and thereby play a major role in the seed dispersal. Talking about the cultural significance, so it is deeply embedded in the tribal folklore, and tribes use replica beaks for the headgear to support the conservation rather than the hunting. Okay, so it has also a very high cultural significance when we see in the tribes, particularly in the northeastern part of the country. It is also the state bird of Kerala. Then from Arunachal, let's move to the other northeastern states, starting with Assam. Now, the state bird of Assam is the white-winged wood duck. Okay, white-winged wood duck. It is listed under endangered category and is listed under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. It is locally known as the Diohan. Okay, Diohan, and which means the spirit or the ghost duck. Okay, so ghost duck because of its white wings. So because its eerie call and its elusive nature in the dense wetland forests. Then for Tripura, we have the green imperial pigeon. The state bird of Tripura is the green imperial pigeon, and this bird is listed under near threatened category by the IUCN and under Schedule 2 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Now, this is a fruit eating bird, a gregarious fruit eater, which is vital for the ecosystem and it is distinct for its deep and resonant calls. Then we have the other northeastern states, that is Manipur and Mizoram. they have a common state bird, that is Mrs. Hume's pheasant. Okay, so Mrs. Hume's pheasant is the state bird of the state of Manipur and Mizoram, and this bird is listed under vulnerable category by the IUCN and in Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Now, this is endemic to the montane forest, that is mountainous forest, and is extremely shy and difficult to spot. And sharing this bird highlights the ecological continuity between these two states. So Manipur and Mizoram, they are neighboring states. They are in continuity. So both of them, because of the natural as well as the cultural significance of this bird, they have adopted this particular bird as the state animal. Both the as the state bird, both the states. Then for Nagaland, we have the Blyth's tragopan, which is the state bird of Nagaland. It is also listed under vulnerable category and in Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. And this particular bird inhabits the dense undergrowth and is famous for the elaborate courtship display before and involving the horn-like projections. So on its head, it has horn-like projections, and it displays these horn-like projections when it carries out the courtship during the mating season. Then the remaining northeast states, that is the Sikkim and Meghalaya. So in Sikkim we have the blood pheasant, which is the state bird of Sikkim, and it is listed under least concern and Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Now it is also the official bird of the former kingdom of Sikkim. Okay, so Sikkim was a independent sovereign country prior to its merger with India. So the kingdom of Sikkim, it had the official bird, that is the blood pheasant. And when Sikkim was incorporated in the country, in the union, as the state, as a full-fledged state, so it retained the state bird status. And it symbolizes the good fortune in the Tibetan Buddhism. That is the cultural significance of the blood pheasant. Then for the state of Meghalaya, we have the hill myna. Okay, now hill myna is also the state bird for Chhattisgarh as well. Okay, so we have the hill myna. Now, this hill myna is least concerned according to the IUCN red list. It is least concerned and is listed under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act and is renowned for its ability to mimic human speech and machinery with startling accuracy. So it can mimic just like a parrot can mimic human speech. Okay, so this particular bird, the hill myna, can mimic human speech as well as the sounds of machinery. Then coming to the Gangetic Plains, we have the state of Uttar Pradesh, and in Uttar Pradesh we have the state bird, that is the Saras crane. So Saras crane is the state bird of Uttar Pradesh and is listed under vulnerable category and in Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Now, the Saras crane is the world's tallest flying bird. So this is an extremely important fact. That is, it is the world's tallest flying bird, standing up to 6 feet tall, and it has distinct red head. Okay, so it has a red head and a gray body. Okay, so red colored head and gray body. Now it is revered as a symbol of marital fidelity. Okay, fidelity because they mate for life. Okay, so the mating partner of the Sarus crane. Okay, so they maintain that partnership. Okay, or they maintain that mating partnership for life, and it is believed if to pine to death if the other partner dies. So if one of the partner dies, okay, so the other partner, okay, it also dies in the immense sorrow. So that's the belief. Then coming to the other central Indian states, that is the Madhya Pradesh. So state bird of Madhya Pradesh is Indian paradise flycatcher. Now it is listed under least concern category according to the IUCN red list and in Schedule 2 of the Wildlife Protection Act. And it is also locally known as the Dudhraj, that is the king of milk. Dudhraj, king of milk, because the males change color from rufous to white as they age. So from rufous color to extremely white color to pure white color, okay, that is the transition of males when they age. Then we have the state bird of Chhattisgarh, which is the hill myna. Okay, so hill myna also the state bird of Meghalaya. Now it is also the state bird for Chhattisgarh. Okay, so it is listed under least concern category and in Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Now, specifically the Bastar Hill Maina. Okay. So Bastar is a region, is a district in Chhattisgarh. So the hill maina population that is found in the Bastar region, that is the Bastar variety. We call it the Bastar variety of the hill maina. So that population is culturally celebrated in Chhattisgarh and it possesses incredible vocal range. Then coming to West Bengal. So state bird of West Bengal is white-throated kingfisher. Okay, so white-throated kingfisher. So it has a white throat and it is not just a fish eater, it is adaptable to urban gardens and eats large insects and lizards as well. And it is also associated with the Kamadeva, who's the god of love. Then the Union Territory of Delhi and the state of Bihar. Okay, they have a common state animal, the state bird, that is the house sparrow. Okay, so house sparrow is the common state bird for Union Territory of Delhi and Bihar, in state of Bihar. And once it declining at an extreme rate. Okay, so it is now declining in the concrete jungles in cities and it represents the need for urban conservation. Then we have the state bird, the common state bird for the state of Jharkhand and the Union Territory of Puducherry. Okay, Jharkhand and Puducherry, they have a common official bird, that is the Asian quail. Okay, so Asian quail is the state bird of Jharkhand as well as the official bird of the Union Territory of Puducherry. And the Asian quail is famous for its kuhu call. Okay, so it's sweet, melodious kuhu call, and it's a brood parasite that lays eggs in the nests of the crows. Okay, so it displays the brood parasitism. Then comes by far the most important bird, according to as per the questions that UPSC have asked in the past. That is the Great Indian Bustard. Okay, so one of the favorite areas or one of the favorite species of UPSC for to ask questions on. Now, the Great Indian Bustard is the state bird of the state of Rajasthan. And if you talk about the conservation status, so it is listed in critically endangered. So it's a critically endangered bird and is listed in Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Now, it is one of the heaviest flying birds. Okay, so Sarus crane was the tallest flying bird. The Great Indian Bustard is the heaviest flying bird, one of the heaviest flying bird in the world. It has a weight of up to 15 kg. It is mainly ground dwelling, okay, because of it that much weight. Okay, it's mainly ground dwelling, and it also faces severe threats because it is critically endangered. It, and the reason because of the critically endangerment is many threats from habitat loss and mainly the collision with the power lines. So the power grid lines that we have, okay, because it's quite a large bird, okay, so it collides with these heavy, these power grids or the power lines carrying, high electrical charge, high electrical current, okay, and because of that collision, these birds, many of these birds, they die, and this is a flagship species. Okay, so the Great Indian Bustard is a flagship species for grassland conservation. Okay, not just in India but across the world. Then coming to the western part of the country, we have state of Gujarat, and the state bird of Gujarat is the greater flamingo. Okay, so greater flamingo is the state bird of Gujarat. It is listed under least concern category by the IUCN and in Schedule 2 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Now, the Flamingo City in Kutch, okay, so in the Kutch area of the northern Gujarat mainly, it has a critical breeding ground. Okay, so in Kutch, we have a critical breeding ground for these greater flamingos, and that is known as Flamingo City. Okay, so this is another fact for the exam that you can be asked Flamingo City, okay, is located in which of the Indian city in Indian states, and their pink color. So these are pink in color. Okay, it comes from the carotenoid pigments in their. Then the state of Maharashtra. For Maharashtra, we have the yellow-footed green pigeon. Okay, the yellow-footed, yellow-colored foot, green pigeon. Okay, and it's least concerned and is listed under Schedule 2 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Now, in Maharashtra, it is also locally known as the Harial, and it is strictly arboreal and rarely descend to the ground. Arboreal means it is mainly found on trees. Then we have the coastal state of Goa, and Goa's state bird is flame-throated bulbul. Okay, the flame-throated bulbul. So it has a throat of deep orange red color, okay, like just like the color of a flame. Talking about the conservation status, it is listed under least concern category by the IUCN and is listed in Schedule 4 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Now, this is endemic to the Western Ghats and is also the mascot of the 2020 national games that were hosted in Goa. Okay. Then for the Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu Union Territory, we have the hill myna, which is the state bird. Now, talking about the conservation status, it's listed under IUCN least concerned category and is listed under Schedule 2 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Now, it is admired for its striking appearance and melodious calls in the woodlands of its territory. Then we have a beautiful bird, which is the state bird for three states in India, that is Karnataka, Telangana, and Odisha. All these three states, they have a common state bird, that is the Indian roller. Now, this Indian roller is listed under IUCN least concern category, and is listed under Schedule 2 of the Wildlife Protection Act. This blue colored bird, okay, it has got its name from the aerial acrobatics, that is rolling and diving during courtship. Okay, so this Indian roller, okay, so it makes a lot of rolling movement, diving movement when it is ready for or it is performing a courtship for the mating season. Now, this is also known as the Palapita and Neelkant. Okay, Palapita or Neelkant, and is associated with Lord Shiva. And sighting it on Dashera is also considered lucky. And talking about the role it plays in the ecosystem, so it is a friend of farmer and controls insect population in agricultural fields. So it's used for pest management. Okay, its role is mainly pest management. Then for the state of Andhra Pradesh, we have the rose-ringed parakeet, which is the Andhra Pradesh's state bird. Now, the rose-ringed parakeet is also known as Ramachilka. Okay, it is also locally known as in Andhra. It is known as Ramachilka. That is the rose-ringed parakeet, which is the state bird of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so it's a vibrant parrot species that is typically found in loud, active forks across various habitats. Talking about the conservation status, it is listed under least concern category and in Schedule 2 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Then going deep south, we have the state of Kerala. Okay, so the state bird of Kerala is great hornbill, just like the Arunachal Pradesh. So they have a common state bird. Now, its conservation status, it is listed under vulnerable category by the IUCN and is listed under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Okay. Now, it is also known as the Arunachal Pradesh's state bird. So, Western Ghat population is distinct. Okay. So, it is a mascot for the Kerala's State Road Transport Corporation as well. Okay. So, even though the great hornbill is found in Western Ghats as well as it is found in northeastern part of the country, these are somewhat distinct birds. Okay, these are some sub varieties. Okay, so the Arunachal Pradesh, the great hornbill of the Arunachal Pradesh will be slightly different than the great hornbill of Kerala. Then for the state of Tamil Nadu, the state bird is emerald dove. Okay, and its conservation status is least concerned according to the IUCN Red List and is listed under Schedule 2 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Now, this is a shy ground feeding bird and it symbolizes peace and nature's quiet beauty. Then, talking about the island groups. So, we have two union territories, that is the Andaman and Nicobar Islands as well as the Lakshadweep. So, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the state bird or the official bird is the Andaman wood pigeon. Okay. It is near threatened according to IUCN and is listed under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Now, this is a endemic bird. This is an endemic bird, that is, it is found nowhere else on earth apart from the Andaman and Nicobar. Okay, so apart from Andaman and Nicobar, we cannot find this Andaman wood pigeon, okay, anywhere across the world in their natural habitat. Then for the state bird or the official bird of Lakshadweep, we have the sooty tern. Okay, so its conservation status, it is listed under least concern according to the IUCN, and it's a true seabird known for its long migratory journeys, and it rarely settles on the land except to breed on the coral islands. And we know the Lakshadweeps, okay, they are made up of coral islands. Okay. So here we have the exhaustive list of all the state birds of India. Now you can get these notes or these PDF or the PDF file from the Telegram channel of Shikara Academy, okay, so that you can revise this entire slug. Now, for the aspirants who are preparing for APPSC Group 2 examination, we at Shikara Academy are bringing our foundation batch. The batch starts on Monday, that is 9th of February, in which you will be provided with live and recorded classes, 100% GS syllabus coverage, comprehensive focus on current affairs coverage, subject wise and full length test series, study materials, resources, and most importantly, personalized mentorship. The batch starts on 9th Feb, and you can join it